We have breaking news in the Scottish Premiership, and no, I don't mean the fact that Partick Thistle bottled their promotion against Ross County. I mean the fact the bottle has crashed at Celtic. Their bottle's completely wet, and Ange Postecoglou has left the club and decided to join Tottenham. Welcome back, guys, to Son of Scotland TV. Massive news here. Just had to give my 2 cents on this move for Ange. He is going to Spurs. It will be official. David Ornstein, a guy that pretty much everything he says comes true. Whenever he writes something, it's gospel. You can take it for the 100% truth that it is. And he tweeted earlier today that Tottenham are now close to appointing Ange Postecoglou as the new boss. Deal for Celtic manager to make the Tottenham Hotspur switch is expected to be finalised in the coming days. Ange has sat down with the club, he's listened to the club, he's agreed on a deal, and all we need to do now is wait until it is made official by the club. So, I mean, this news I don't think comes as a surprise. I mean, I think if you've been watching this unfold, then it was pretty obvious that Ange Postecoglou, I think, was going to go to Spurs, and it's going to be a massive loss for Scottish football. Obviously a massive loss for Celtic, though, more importantly. As a non-Celtic fan, I mean, I am kind of happy to see the vacuum. Don't get me wrong, I am sick of Celtic winning every game, I am sick of Celtic dominating, and that's what they were doing under Ange Postecoglou, and I didn't like that. So yeah, I am kind of glad to see him go, but at the same time, I can acknowledge that he played some really good, attractive football at Celtic. He got them playing some of the best football we've seen in Scotland in many years, many decades. Possibly some of the best football we've ever seen in Scotland. So, you know, he did do that, and I feel like Celtic would have a better chance of performing better in Europe under Ange. I know last year Champions League didn't exactly go the way they wanted, but I felt like this year coming forward that they would have had a good crack at it, but that's not going to happen now. It will happen, but just not with him in charge. So yeah, no, I'm happy to see him leave, but at the same time, I do think this is a bit of a blow for Scottish football. I think it will weaken Celtic, which is obviously good if you want to catch them, but not so good if you want Scottish football to be as good as it can be. But I mean, whatever. Ange is moving to Spurs now, and I think we knew this was going to happen for 3 reasons. First of all, he didn't come out and say that he was leaving. He didn't come out and say that he was staying. Now, people say that obviously this is Ange, he's keeping his cards close to his chest, but I mean, that wasn't the case. Look, if Ange knew, he'd everything to gain. If Ange was staying at the club, he would have nothing to gain by not coming out and say that he is staying. If he was committed, if he wanted to be here next season, if he wanted to be at Celtic, he would come out and say simply that, you know, he's going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be the Celtic manager next season. He didn't say that, and that straight away meant that there was doubts. The fact he would not commit, the fact he wouldn't make a statement like that, meant that he was considering the offer from Spurs and that he was considering leaving Celtic. Second of all, we've seen Ange linked with other clubs in the past, but he's not been linked with a club the size of Tottenham. And I don't care if you're an Everton fan, I don't care if you're a West Ham fan. They're not Tottenham. We've seen Tottenham now. They're recognised as one of the big six, and I know Newcastle came along lately, but Tottenham are one of the big six in England. They have that massive stadium now, possibly the best stadium in the world. They do have finances. They are a London club. So, I mean, we can sit and debate this, but Spurs are bigger clubs than Everton and West Ham. That can't be denied. They're better attractions for players and managers to go to. I think you can be more ambitious with Spurs. We've seen Spurs in the Champions League over the last decade numerous times. They even made a Champions League final. So they are a top team. There's no doubt about that. You know, they've got really good players as well. So I think when you look at the clubs that Ange was linked to in the past, none of them compared to Tottenham. So that's reason number 2 why I think this was a serious offer. And the third and final reason is Tottenham actually came out and declared Ange as their number 1 target. None of the other clubs done that. Ange was simply linked to the other clubs because he was doing so good at Celtic. But none of the other clubs actually came out and says, Ange Postecoglou is our number 1 target. None of them actually went out and tried to sign him from Celtic. Spurs have done that, and he was never going to say no. Look, you just don't say no to Spurs. You don't say no to the Premier League. If it was a lower league Premier League side, I mean, could he have stayed? Could Celtic have kept them possibly if it was like a Nottingham Forest or something like that, a Crystal Palace? But when you're dealing with likes of Tottenham, it was a no-brainer that Ange would go. I mean, so there you go, guys. Ange leaves. He competed for 6 trophies in Scotland. He won 5 of the 6, and he did take over a Celtic team that was in a shambles originally. And I remember when Ange came in, obviously I didn't know him, and before he came in, I thought Celtic were in a shambles. I said that Rangers would probably win the next 3 or 4 league titles in a row, and obviously that didn't happen. But it was after the second league game in his first season, when I seen him, I believe it was Dundee, they smashed Dundee 6-0, and then after that, they played us, they played Hearts in the Premier Sports Cup, and the game was only 3-2, we only lost 3-2, but I watched that game, and I've never seen us get battered so much than that game against Celtic. And I know it was 3-2, on paper it looked close, but we were fucking annihilated, and that was with a Celtic team that, I mean, it wasn't that good. You see, you look at the squad that he had that day, man. You know, he was playing with some players that wouldn't get anywhere near the team now. So when I seen that, I thought, nah, you know what? They've just smashed Dundee. They've played Dundee right after the park. And I know Dundee got relegated, whatever, but it's the way they played against Dundee. Then I seen them absolutely annihilate us in the cup, and it was only 2 weeks ago we beat them in the opener in the league, and I thought, nah, man, you know what? This guy is special. This guy's got them playing good football. And I predicted from that moment that Ange, I didn't even predict. I said 100% Celtic would win the league. And after that, you know, their form still wasn't great. After 6 games, they'd won 3, lost 3, and then they drew a game. And at that point, a lot of Celtic fans wanted him gone. I bet you they're glad he didn't go, because he went on to turn things around, won 2 leagues, won a Scottish Cup and won 2 League Cups. So, I mean, he's had a really good career at Celtic. I mean, has he been there long enough to be a legend? I don't know. He probably is. And I think, prediction time, I think Ange will get, next season at Spurs, I think he'll get top 4. I think he will get top 4. If he stays at Spurs long enough, can I see Spurs winning the league? Aye. I can see, I'm not saying it's going to happen straight away. Certainly won't happen as quick as it did at Celtic, but I think if Ange stays at Spurs, I just think with his style, I think this guy's really going to be suited to the Premier League, and I can see him do big things. It's not going to be easy, but I look at Spurs, and I think Ange can get them closer to winning the league than they've got, you know, in the last like 2, 3, 4 decades or whatever. So yeah, and they've had a lot of good managers that have failed. Mourinho had won a trophy at every club. At Spurs, he won nothing. Conte had won a trophy at every club. You know, at Spurs, he won nothing. So, we'll see. Sometimes Spurs kill careers. Will they kill Ange Postecoglou? I guess we'll find out, guys. But there you go, he's gone. He's gone for Scottish football. Hopefully, Celtic gets some shite manager and they go to shit, and maybe we can laugh at Celtic. So, aye. It's been a while since Celtic had banter days. Hopefully this new manager's a complete donkey, and they bring back the donkey years. Bring back Barker while they're at it, for God's sake. Anyway, guys, that's it. Video coming tomorrow about the new Hearts manager. So yeah, I am going to make a video on that. Obviously we don't have one yet, but there's a few candidates, and there's someone that is standing out as the #1 target. So I will address that tomorrow, guys. So yeah, stay tuned. Leave a like, leave a comment. Goodbye, Big Ange, and thank fuck he's leaving Scottish football. Maybe somebody else now can win a trophy. Till next time, peace.